So this is an $11 tournament played on 888. We did part 1 of this review like a couple of months ago. So we're going to pick up from where we left off. Hey, awkward stack sizes. I'm just looking around the table thinking about what I would do. Interesting little hand. Sid, what are your immediate thoughts on this hand?
Yeah, so really nice hand. A couple of things that we can do. I think we're early enough, and there's 3 really enticing rejam stacks behind. We can call or 3-bet. The stacks behind us are a little bit bigger, so I think we've got room to 3-bet to 5 and call a jam.
We want to be able to 3-bet and fold to people behind when we are bluffing. Otherwise, our ranges are kind of out of whack. If it was a situation where we're never 3-bet folding, we'd probably better off jamming. We can trap this or we can raise this. I think I'd lean towards a trap. It depends how close we are to the money and things like that. Looking at Villain 17, they have the chip lead. So they've got all the reasons to try and put pressure on us, and they may not see our call as strong. They might just see it as medium sort of strength, which is fair because we will have medium strength hands that will call and then fold. Things like ace-jack suited, things like pocket eights, stuff like that. So we want to protect that part of our range.
So if we flat and villain 17 calls as well, and then we hit a not particularly favourable flop, how do you tend to play these big hands when you're out of position?
Well, we'll be sandwiched, right? I have a leading range, is what I would say. Okay. We know that when we press the call button here, we have pretty strong hands. We have pocket eights. We have ace-jack, suited, offsuit. We have ace-queen, suited and offsuit. We have slow plays, like pocket aces, like pocket kings. So when we press the call button, whether our opponents know it or not, we have a strong range. So when we get to the flop, a lot of flops will have an equity advantage. So if the board just comes deuce 5-5, we have a really strong range. We have a lot of the overpairs like pocket sevens to pocket jacks, say, plus aces, plus kings. The rest of it is our ace high hands that are likely best a good chunk of the time. And a bunch of those hands want to deny equity. So if the board comes 5-5-2 and it's 3 ways and we have pocket eights, a 2 big blind bet is going to be really favorable. Worse hands can call and equity can fold. So I definitely have leading ranges in situations like that. You do 3-bet and everyone folds. Like, I don't hate 3-betting because we can just get it in with kings. Sid, what hands would you bluff from here?
At this stack depth, I'm 3-betting, let's say something like 9s through queens for value. Ace king through ace 10 maybe.
Okay.
Some suited broadways. And then I might 3-bet hands like ace 5 suited. Suited kings are nice 3-bets as well. It's one of these very cool things about tournament poker where stack depth and positions can just change things so drastically. If we're button against a cutoff open, you can do a lot more wide 3-betting with hands like king 6 off or random ace x hands, just because you're in position and you're using blockers really nicely.
Interesting little discussion from what seems like a reasonably innocuous hand.
Yeah, definitely, because I think sometimes you can learn some very straightforward things like kings are good and raise them, and then and then never go back to the more intricate stuff around it.
For sure. The range is what's important. Queenies again. Ooh, and Villain 12 uses another... They've changed their sizing. Last time they went 5 bigs. We're in position against Villain 12. This is only their second 3-bet. They've been on our radar all tournament. They've been popping up with all kinds of plays. But if I'm not mistaken, this is only their second 3-bet. You go for a sneaky black hole. What do you think of this, Sid?
I think out of position, I'm just 4-bet shoving, but in position, I think there's room to try and play it post-flop and see if we can get a bit more out of them. There's lots of stuff that they 3-bet folds that I'd quite like to have another street against.
Fair, yes. I think in practice, I'll probably do both. I'll jam and I'll slow play. So yeah, I definitely don't hate flat calling. What's your inkling on this board?
I'm happy to get it all in.
Yeah, I've lost my nerve now. I've seen
overpair, SPR less than 2.
I've seen all the cards I want to say. The times I do flat call, I'm gonna 2-bet jam here. They can still call with ace x, and they can call with any pocket pair that's 3-bet that's worse than our queens. Ooh, they do call. Yeah. Okay, so like for the past hour, I've been talking about how just because players are playing lots of hands doesn't mean they have a lot of 3-bets, and then I just got made a fool of by 7-4. Listen, I stand by what I was saying. It's just now we have direct evidence that they're a lunatic. So now we just have to double click on them and make a note, and then we know for next time. And we hold. Amazing. Maybe Sid in game had evidence that Villain 12 3-bets a lot. that makes flat calling even better because our queens are less vulnerable. Because if they have this many 3-bets in their range, we are less scared with our queens, right? They're a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was magic. That was magic. What a hooligan. Villain 13 has done plenty of limps. I immediately want to go for value here. The question is sizing. This is the smallest I would go. I probably value bet flop. I probably block bet quarter or a third pot for value because they can continue with spades, they can continue with clubs, they can continue with something they shouldn't continue with. So yeah, I think we're stronger to value bet. What do you mean, jam? They've done this a few times. The thing is, we haven't seen their hand.
I obviously want to look them up at some point, but
they're usually just it's usually just someone who's excited but nervous about following cards. It's often just 10 here, or pocket 9s here, or pocket 8s here that are just like, I have the best hand, I win, and I don't want to see any more cards. That's my take. Ace queen, we raise. Aha, villain 13 calls. Given the tendency to absolutely blast post-flop, I'm keeping that in mind before we even see a flop. Ah, check. No! No, Sid! He's been wild, let him blast. Normally, I'd totally agree with you and go for a bet. But just because we've seen this player absolutely light it up for seemingly no good reason, I would trap this one.
Yeah.
You pick a big sizing? Right. I don't hate it. I certainly don't hate it. Even if the solvers don't use big sizings here, like, I don't hate it as an exploit.
I'm trying to engineer a 2-street shove here, but I've done it wrong. I can go pot, I think. So I've slightly undercooked it, I think.
I'd probably be more inclined to go 3 streets to get this in, though. My default is, like, just having my usual small bet or big bet on flops, and then I can usually eyeball it to work out the geometric sizing on turns and rivers. So, Sid, thank you so much for joining us again. It's been really informative. This has been a tricky one to analyze. There's been multi-way spots, there's been hooligans, and all sorts to analyze.
Yeah, it's so much fun for me to do this, and I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much.